Hey, viewers and viewresses, my name is John Red Stratus and welcome back to Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair. This is episode 60 now, continuing on with the Danganronpa If Light novel. So, Mukuro just got rescued by Mondo from all the Monokumas. She's been brought here to the remaining students, so I guess we're going to have a bit of a big discussion point at this time. Recording this episode straight after the last one, so we're just going to continue on for the time being. Makoto had barely regained consciousness while Mukuro was fighting the horde of Monokumas at the main entrance. When he woke up, he did something extremely simple. He talked about his memories. Most of the students were still sceptical, even after listening to Mukuro's recorded confession on Chihiro's laptop. Obviously, they were still not entirely convinced at first when Makoto woke up, but after Sakura asked him a certain question, the ambience completely changed. Then beyond the walls of the school, the world is completely destroyed? You're saying there's no one else alive? Makoto slowly sat up to answer Sakura's meek question. Don't worry, I'm sure Kenichiro's still safe. Kenichiro? Who was Kenichiro? I feel like I should know the answer to that. I don't know. Was that something mentioned in Trigger Happy Havoc? Because I remember, of course, Sakura had... Obviously, there was the whole thing with Sakura's family dojo. I don't know. I can't remember. That might be a small detail that slipped my mind. I'm sure he'll still keep his promise to you. Sakura gasped. Kenichiro was the only man she couldn't defeat. A man who had promised her a rematch and made her one other promise as well. How do you know that name? How do you know about that promise? Because, love, you told me. No. Makoto slowly corrected himself. You told all of us. Sakura was silent after hearing those words, but she then faced the other students and spoke in a loud, clear voice. I'm going to trust Makoto. Sakura? Oh, that's Aoi, of course it would be. Though Aoi was shocked, Sakura continued to speak with determination. What Makoto just said is something I kept locked away inside my memories. In fact, I was planning to keep that secret until the day I died. But if I shared that secret, that means there was once a strong bond between Makoto, myself, and with my fellow students as well. Makoto continued to talk in a gentle tone. I recall Sakura, in the last game being very much a very sensible and quite, calm, composed sort of character for the most part. See, I always, I should have known we could trust Sakura here. Sakura is the one who you can sort of rely on to sort of, just keep focused a bit. Though it couldn't have been good for his health, he continued to slowly talk about the memories that the other students no longer had. This will probably be Toko speaking, since it's talking about the story. Oh, great, I have to do the voice. Oh, why do you know about the story I'm planning to write? Are you a specialist Nenus who can predict the future? Oh, wait, no, that was not Toko, that was Hifumi. Of course, the fanfic creator. Well, I'm not repeating it. You already finished that story, Hifumi. You had me help you with thinking. That's a proper northern accent, that. TH in front of a word beginning with a vowel. Well, wait a sec. How do you know I extorted money from that girl related to the Kuzuryu clan? That's probably not Hifumi, is it? Extorted money from that girl related to the Kuzuryu clan. Is that what's-her-face? Fuyahiko's little sister? Who we learnt about it in the main storyline. Because you even tried to sell me organs to him. His wounds were excruciating. I don't know who that was talking there. I'm not sure. But even so, Makoto kept smiling and talking about their lives together. As if it was his duty to do so, now that he had regained his memories. As the other students listened to him, they slowly began to realise something. The vivid accounts he was providing couldn't be explained as just passing knowledge. Clearly, some kind of bond between them all had been erased. Only Byakuya remained cynical. There's no way I would have grown closer to any of you. It's likely that you're all secretly working together. Though Byakuya was still hostile toward Makoto's recollection of their memories, for the time being he determined that Makoto wasn't actually a terrorist. Mukuro had bought enough time for Makoto to wake up and share his memories with the others. Even if she hadn't intended to do that, it was still a small sliver of hope that she grasped tightly. Okay. And now, as she looked at the boy who had smiled at her, Mukuro didn't know what to say. She couldn't think of anything to say at all. The battle was over, and Mukuro was now back to being a disappointing girl. She turned away from everyone's faces and apologetically climbed off the back of the motorcycle. But Makoto saw her and slowly opened his mouth to say, "Cheers, Mukuro, you saved me life." Makoto gave her words of sincere gratitude between his weak breaths. Mukuro couldn't bring herself to look at him as she mumbled to herself, "Why?" "Huh? If Kyoko told you, then you already know what I did, right?" After regaining his memories and learning the truth, Mukuro should have been nothing but a hated traitor to him. Why would he smile at someone like her? Because he's the ultimate hope and all that. Mukuro kept her head down. Makoto smiled as if he was unsure how to respond and said, "Well, I guess you're right, love. But you also saved my life many times during the past 2 years, and..." Makoto took a deep, quiet breath and smiled at Mukuro again. "You're me friend, you're me chum, me pal, we all spent time with each other. It'd be great if you could look for a different path, not despair. And if there's any way I can help you, I will." This is probably Mukuro. "Do you really think I can walk another path at this point?" "I don't know what you can do, or even what I can do, but I think it's more important to look for that path instead of actually finding it." Was this intentional or a coincidence? Just before he regained his memories, Makoto had said something similar to Mukuro when she spoke to him in the nurse's office as Junko. Regardless of whether he lost his memories or regained them, those words revealed Makoto's true character. As God, I nearly called her Makuro and Mukoto. Jesus, we're going to end up blending their names together. As Mukuro confirmed that to herself, Makoto blurted out something that was almost too trusting. "And it's not just you, even Junko can." But he was immediately interrupted. "Hoo hoo!" Monokuma's face appeared on every monitor in the academy, and his laughter seemed to be coming out of every speaker. "I could have kept pretending to be that ultimate hacker. See, I knew it. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? You can't trust Junko and all that. But it's boring to impersonate someone who doesn't even exist. If this keeps up, I'll lose my identity and turn into Konokuma." Kyoko looked up at a surveillance camera and addressed Monokuma directly. "You seem to give up pretty easily." "There isn't a bear anywhere that gives up as easily as I do. Regardless, I'm pretty sure Chihiro's figured out the secret of my control program by now." I don't know who's speaking there. It could be Chihiro, it could be Kyoko. I'm going to assume Kyoko, I'm not sure. "So just as I thought, you feckin' bastard, you included that program on purpose." "Yeah, knew it." Kyoko realised something when Mukuro told her about Junko. There were 2 reasons such a hateful person would intentionally leave an obvious clue inside the Monokuma units. Either Junko wanted the students to learn the truth about the outside world and themselves on their own and turn their hopes into despair, or she was looking forward to that clue resulting in her own plan being undone, which would allow her to feel despair toward herself. She was an angel of everlasting darkness, delighting in her own despair and using it to spread despair and destruction to those around her. Why would someone like that continue to play the role of Monokuma? "Actually, I set that program for Chihiro to discover she happened to be one of the final 5 survivors. I feel so sad and empty that my preparation was a waste, but I'm going to think about it positively. The word retreat doesn't exist in Monokuma's dictionary." Nervousness began to grip the students as Monokuma continued talking in his relaxing, uplifting voice. "Now then, it looks like everyone's here, including Toko, who's still tied up in a room. So let's start the heart-throbbing, exciting special graduation exam." "Huh?" The students broke out in noisy confusion, but Monokuma ignored them and kept talking. "Don't think about it too hard. Relax. Change Ilax to Uppert for all I care. I'll still be the most adorable bear here." Oh, right, I get it. I get the joke. It's like Rupert the bear. Byakuya, visibly annoyed with Monokuma's nonsensical rambling, shouted, "I already know it's you, Junko. Stop this stupid game and show yourself." "Oh my, don't you know? If you want to lure the mastermind out of her heavenly hidey hole, you need to bring a worthy sacrifice. You're not worthy enough at all. Do you really think the mastermind would show herself for your pathetic hope? Oh god, gas from me tea coming up my throat. And despair." Blah! He roared manically, then began to explain the special graduation exam. "If you pass my exam, everyone will graduate, but if you fail, you'll be held back for a whole year. I'll reset your memories, give you a fresh new lease on life, and you'll reintroduce yourselves at the start of the school year again. They say people's lives don't come with reset buttons, but I'm not a people. Whether it's soft resets or hard resets, I can do as I please. Yasuhiro seemed confused, but the other students knew what Monokuma meant by reset. He was going to force them to relive their school lives once again. As Yasuhiro struggled to understand, Taka pointed at a nearby monitor and shouted, "Stop this already! No matter what you do to us, we'll never commit murder. These past few days should have already made that clear to you." "What was that?" jumped Monokuma. "Are you serious?" "Of course, no one here would ever take another human being's life for any reason." As Taka shouted, one of the students, a pale-faced girl standing apart from the others, looked away. It was Sayaka. Oh yeah, I forgot about you. As she trembled, a voice popped up from behind her. It's probably Monokuma. "What do you think, Sayaka?" She couldn't even turn around from sheer terror, but Sayaka knew. She knew Monokuma was standing right behind her. "Do you really think none of you will become a killer?" Monokuma leaned towards Sayaka and asked her a question only she could hear. "By the way, Sayaka, why did you go to Makoto's room when nothing strange had happened yet? Did you two have an inappropriate relationship? What would your fans think if they found out you... Let me try that again. What would your fans think if they found out you'd made a move on a boy by sneaking into his room? Or were you there for some other reason?" Sayaka was this sort of feminine, timid voice. I... She could barely make a sound, much less scream, as her trembling worsened. Monokuma had nothing to gain by cornering Sayaka and toying with her emotions like this. He simply wanted to see what the young singer fall in... He simply wanted to see the young singer fall into despair over her true character. And for that reason, Monokuma did not relent. Hey! What were you trying to do to your close friend you've known for the past 2 years?" Her determination from last night blended with the memories Makoto had recounted, and ate away at Sayaka's mind like a disease. As her mind began to rip itself apart, she fell to her knees. A clear ball, flying at just under 105 miles per hour, struck Monokuma in the mouth with enough force to sink into his face. The speaker in Monokuma's mouth was immediately destroyed, as his body rolled into a wall and stopped moving. Sayaka came to her senses and looked where the ball came flying from. She saw Leon breathing heavily as he stared intensely even at Monokuma. Yasuhiro grabbed him and yelled, "Oh dude, why did you do that, Leon? That crystal ball is really valuable." Oh. It's like the way Leon used the crystal ball in Trigger Happy Havoc. I bet there's a little bit of a reference in there. Spoiler alert, of course. Leon had stolen Yasuhiro's crystal ball and thrown it at Monokuma. American accent, wasn't it? "That Monokuma bastard was trying to take Sayaka hostage. What was I supposed to do?" "Dude, that crystal ball cost me $2 trillion. $2 trillion! They don't even print that much money anymore." "Oh, bullshit. Besides, if the world is all screwed up, what the hell are you going to need money for anyway? But if it's safe out there, I'll just join the major leagues or whatever and pay you back." "Oh, well, I could pay you back doing something else besides baseball." Saying I didn't know who was talking then. As those two argued, Sayaka fell to her knees. I thought she was already on her knees. "Hey!" shouted Leon, running toward her. "Sayaka, are you okay?" She looked at him and stared blankly. "Leon..." She had made up her mind and she raised her head as she said, "There's something I need to confess to you later." Uh-oh. This... You see, this is how it happened in Trigger Happy Havoc. She lured Leon to Makoto's room and then tried to kill him, but of course he ended up killing her. "What are you doing, Sayaka?" "What, seriously?" Sayaka was staring at Leon so intensely that he briefly forgot about the current situation. "Not just to you, but to Makoto and the others too." "Ah, okay. Right, so... No, it's not what I think it is. She's going to come clean? Is that what she's going to do?" Sayaka had made up her mind to confess the sin that was weighing heavily on her heart, but Leon seemed not to hear the latter half of her remark. He ran back to the others, slapped Ifumi and Yasuhiro on their backs and shouted, "Alright everyone, let's ace this exam or whatever and get out of here already. There's no way I'm going to let my happy memories of this place get taken away." The Monokuma inside the monitor responded, Fine. Now that things are finally coming to a boil, let's start the graduation exam." Sakura, who had been outside the dormitory, suddenly appeared with some information. "The Monokumas in the hallway are acting peculiar. Students all moved..." Oh wait, no, that's not... that's not her speaking. The students all moved to the main building to see what Sakura was talking about. There, they saw 50 Monokumas standing in 2 rows along the walls of the hallway, and one standing at the very end of the hall. There was something strange on top of this Monokuma's head. an enlarged version of the escape button that Makoto had obtained from the Mono Mono machine. As each student took in this sight, an announcement rang throughout the school. The me at the end of the hall has a button on top of his head that'll open the main entrance. You'll have 15 seconds to get that button, and if you do, I'll let you have it in place of a diploma. The students seemed surprised by the straightforward explanation. Only Celeste remained calm, and she asked Monokuma with a bored look on her face. Of course, it is not as simple as running up and taking it, is it? Oh, how mean! Do I look like the kind of headmaster that would interfere with the students' graduation? Forget the gunfire salutes. I'm going to send my graduates off with some fireworks. 100 fireworks to be exact, enough for 20 seconds of hardcore partying. The more perceptive students immediately realised what he was talking about. The bombs installed inside each Monokuma. They would explode one after the other, filling the hallway with fire as soon as time started. After 15 seconds, the me standing at the back of the hall is going to sacrifice himself to give you guys one final firework. By the way, this probably isn't important, but that button isn't very durable. Pooh. This graduation exam was Monokuma's way of saying that he had no intention of letting anyone leave. It was clear from the explosion that the students saw during the entrance exam that the halls of Hope's Peak Academy would be bathed in fire. Even if someone was lucky enough to survive the explosions, the burns on their body alone would be enough to send them into a fatal shock. Their lungs might be completely incinerated by the scorched air before that. Even if they sacrificed one student to run through, the odds were low that they would even succeed. But there was no reason for every student to run in at once either, and a shadow of despair fell upon their faces. I don't know who this is. Alright, this is probably Monokuma. Nice! Very nice! I almost want to take a picture, so I have those faces as a souvenir. As Monokuma laughed from behind the monitor, Sakura stepped forward. I'll do it. I've only seen the explosion once, but I believe I'm capable of withstanding its power. No, shouted Aoi, you can't. Even you couldn't handle 100 of these explosions. Sakura shook her head. I'm the only one who even has a chance. Suddenly, Mondo remembered the motorcycle he parked inside the dormitory and said, Hold up, that motorcycle might be fast enough to go through those explosions. I'll do it. Don't be hasty, urged Sakura. Even if the motorcycle is unharmed by explosions, that doesn't mean its rider will be. Sakura and the others continue their debate. One person stepped forward toward the hallway lined with Monokumas. I have a feeling it could be either Makoto or Kyoko. Oh no, Mukuro. I forgot. I forgot about her. Okay. Mukuro, screamed Makoto weakly. That actually says Makuro. Oh dear, her name's changed. Mukuro, it should say. With her back facing Makoto, turned her head to the side slightly and gave him a small nod. She knew it would come to this. She knew why Monokuma would pose such an impossible exam. Junko is already looking forward to the next despair game. She's going to erase everyone's memories, including mine. She just wants to torment us and fill us with despair before that happens. But Mukuro knew her sister's personality all too well, and that's why she was confident. She knew that the escape button was real. Whenever Junko brought despair to others, she always made sure there was a possibility that despair would befall her instead. If the students won this gamble... Sorry, getting gas from my tea coming up my throat again. And made it through this horrible situation, they would finally escape to the outside world. That outcome would obviously fill Junko with immense despair. In the same way she left a clue in Monokuma's control program, Junko could not be satisfied unless she took pains to assure her own destruction. It was this quality that made Junko the ultimate despair. That's why Mukuro was determined to do it. She knew she was the only person who stood a chance of making that outcome possible, even if she had to risk her life. But right now Mukuro wanted to live more than anything. She wanted to hold on to this world, a world she had no interest in previously. She didn't even know if this hesitation she felt was disappointing or not, but she wanted to live and continue searching for a new path. A path where she could abandon her submission to despair, where she could accept the sins of the past and continue to live. Mukuro, who was known as a war machine, found her heart beset by overwhelming fear and anxiety. Until now, it had never occurred to her that determination was necessary to live. As if she was brushing that fear aside, she quietly said, Thank you, Makoto. Unfortunately, the words she said to the boy who showed her new possibilities never reached his ears. Sakura, however, heard her and frowned as she said, If you plan to sacrifice yourself as an act of penance, I'll stop you with all my power. Though her words were firm, there was unmistakable affection hiding in them. Both girls had dedicated their lives to battle, and yet Mukuro felt a twinge of jealousy towards Sakura for possessing something she lacked. Mukuro leaned towards Sakura and whispered in her ear. What? Oh wait, no, this is probably Sakura saying something. What? Are you serious? As Sakura's frown intensified, Monokuma's voice blared throughout the halls. Alright, I'm going to start the exam now! Ready, set, go! There was no time for questions or objections. The frontmost Monokuma exploded, sending a roaring wave of heat through the hall. But Mukuro didn't look away. She began moving, powered by resolute determination. Ooh, okay. Apologies if my voice just faded out a little bit there. I was just lifting my headphones so I could scratch my ear a little bit. It was itching. So yes, here we go, everybody. Back in the Monokuma control room. As soon as the graduation exam started, the mastermind focused her control entirely on the Monokuma holding the escape button, and completely synchronised her field of vision with it. She knew what was going to happen next. She could predict what her sister Mukuro would do in this exact situation, where she would choose to focus her superhuman skill with weaponry. And so, through Monokuma's eyes, she watched the scene unfold exactly as she had predicted. A pointed metal bar burst through the explosions, heading straight for the weak point of the Monokuma holding the escape button. Specifically, it was aiming for the point where the bomb's detonation system and Monokuma's power source overlapped. It flew straight and true, as if it had been fired by a master archer. In order to bring despair to Monokuma, and by extension Junko as well, the super soldier known as Mukuro Kusaba threw the pipe like a spear so it could attack the same weak point she had pierced in the nurse's office. As explosions filled the hallway until only fire remained visible, the spear's speed and precision as it soared to its target defied all human logic. But the mastermind knew. She knew Mukuro had used her power to fill the world with despair. Power was all that disappointing girl had, but that power was useless against Monokuma. The mastermind had predicted that Mukuro would put all her effort into that throw, and Monokuma caught the metal bar perfectly between his hands. The force of the throw knocked Monokuma back several yards, but the pointed end of the bar never pierced through his chest. This is probably Junko's internal thoughts here. Once again, I'll go for the queenly voice. Well, that was disappointing! The mastermind turned to look at a different monitor. She wanted to see the look on Mukuro's face when she realised that she failed to strike Monokuma. The despair of seeing the final Monokuma explode right before her eyes, completely obliterating the escape button. She wanted to sear this memory of her disappointing sister's final moments as her newfound hope sank into a dark pit of despair. On instinct, she turned her attention to the surveillance camera that hadn't been destroyed, but instead of seeing Mukuro and the others, she only saw Sakura, who looked as though she had finished launching an attack. Yeah, so, at the end of the final episode, of course, Mukuro whispered something to Sakura, so, yeah, we know there's, something Junko probably hasn't accounted for here. Maybe, I don't know. Sipping water. Just, I finished my cup of tea. I've now just got a bottle of water out. 'Cause the thing is, some of these voices, you know the drill. Some of them, they knacker my throat a bit. She only thought it was strange for 1 second, but then the hopelessly powerful mastermind completely understood the situation and shifted her point of view to Monokuma. But because of that single second, Junko would feel just a pang of despair. Okay. 3 seconds left. Amid the smoke, flames and heat encircling the hallway, it burst through with the speed of a cannon shell. It glared at Monokuma with hot boiling eyes that betrayed the icy expression on its face. Bit of a mixed metaphor there, but okay. And then, sharply, swiftly, strongly, it transformed into a living weapon that cuts through everything, revealing its true form in that hall of despair. 2 seconds left. Monokuma, who was still holding the metal bar in his hands, tried to move, but at that exact moment the living weapon carved a path through the flames and disappeared, appeared before him. Its body, which had never been wounded on any battlefield, was sustaining all manner of burns and injuries. But even so, it did not falter. The fire in its eyes never flickered once. 1 second left. The living weapon, Mukuro, slammed her knee into the back of the metal bar Monokuma was holding. The sharp tip of that metal bar pierced through Monokuma like a rail spike, shredding the detonator and his power source into pieces. Time's up. The 100 explosions ceased, and smoke blanketed the hallway. Mukuro had dived into Monokuma, and the pristine escape button now rested in her hand. She and the other students of Hope Speak Academy had passed the graduation exam. It was only a small amount of despair. Monokuma had tasted it in only 3 seconds. First floor hallway. Junko. Mukuro looked down at Monokuma. He could no longer move or self-destruct. When she spoke to him, a static-filled voice emitted from his mouth. It seemed his communication function still worked. Boo! I never expected you to do that! He still sounded like Monokuma. It seems his voice modulator was unharmed as well. Modulator actually spelled wrong there. Should be an O instead of an E, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I must have overestimated you. I never thought you'd need anybody's help on the battlefield. When I give the signal, please launch me forward with a roundhouse kick. Oh wait, no, that was that's Mukuro. Mukuro whispered these words to Sakura just before the explosion started. After Mukuro threw the metal bar, she jumped into the air at the exact moment Sakura unleashed a roundhouse kick. Right when Sakura's foot made contact with her own, Mukuro used the force generated by a kick to propel herself at Monokuma. It's like some typical anime move, this is, that only works on the screen, not in real life. Using the ultimate martial artist's superhuman attack like a springboard, she shot herself through the air like an artillery shell. Enduring intense heat, shrapnel and blood-draining G-force, she stayed conscious as she charged through the hallway, engulfed with explosions and despair. Mukuro trusted Junko. She trusted Junko to predict that she'd throw the metal bar and catch it accordingly. Then she tried to look at her face as the despair sets in. The Junko Enoshima she knew would definitely do that. Although Mukuro hadn't predicted that her sister would try to kill her with the spears of Gungnir, she had a better understanding of her actions now. As Mukuro stared Monokuma in his face, all he could do was laugh scornfully. You put your life in someone else's hands for a deadly battle? I don't know how I feel about that. You'll always be a half-assed disappointment. I guess this time I'll just say I lost because I didn't see this much disappointment coming. The end. The end. Mukuro shook her head at Monokuma. No, you're wrong, Junko. If you want to talk about winning or losing, I think we lost before we even started. I should say Mukuro's eyes, not Mukuro eyes, shifted from side to side, as if she was unsure of something, and she fidgeted in place as she continued to talk. No matter how much despair they felt, you didn't think they'd kill each other the way they were before. That's why you erased their memories. They aren't like the others you forced in the past. You knew these students would never do it. That's what you believed, isn't it? What are you talking about? So, it's okay, Junko. I'll bring back everyone's memories someday, and I'll show you everyone's happiness, and their bonds. I'll show all that to you, and fill you with even more despair. Mukuro nodded after she said this, as if to cheer her sister up. After several seconds of silence, Monokuma responded. You finally beat me this one time, and that lame speech is the best you can do? You're such a disappointment. You never filled me with despair. It's just constant disappointment. After pouting like a sore loser, Monokuma continued to speak in his usual tone. But you guys will be back. And when that time comes, I'll invite you guys to a wonderful place. I found out about this fun island while I was running things here. Boo! Boo! Guess that's a reference to Jabberwock Island, is it? Already she's planning she's planning the events of this game. Monokuma's laughter filled the room before the static finally cut out and his remains fell silent. He wouldn't be talking again anytime soon. The mastermind was already preparing a new despair to bring to the world and to the students of Hope's Academy, Junko included. In the end, the mastermind stayed in a Monokuma persona until the very end, and Junko Enoshima never showed her face again. It was as if she resented the despair Mukuro had given her. That thought almost filled Mukuro with despair. But when she heard her classmates calling for her, she sealed that despair into the depths of her heart. From now on, she would seal away all her despair. And one day, when she can give Junko the perfect despair, she'll unleash all the despair God damn it. This is... Just going back, this is one of the things with this... The repetition of words over and over and over and over. It starts to sound like it's not a word. She'll unleash all the despair she stored and plunge with her sister into a dark abyss. I won't leave my little sister alone. In the end, that was the first hope the disappointing older sister had felt since to get to the point where I can't talk, since she was a child. Here we are, several hours later, main entrance. I wonder if that CG in the background was taken from Trigger Happy Havoc, because obviously you did get the escape button ending there, which just unlocked that final scene where everyone was there. So finally we get a CG that actually has people in it. I don't know who's talking, but that's probably Makoto. Okay, Mukuro, are you really going to go out wearing that bloody wig? After receiving a blood transfusion of the correct blood type, Makoto was beginning to show signs of recovering. Mukuro, holding her wig to disguise herself as Junko Enoshima, nodded. If I live as Junko, I might be able to understand her better. Despite that, Mukuro's voice still sounded like her own, as if she hadn't fully decided. And I've made up my mind. Sorry, I was just looking at the screen, looking at all the characters. Okay, for a second I couldn't see where Sayaka was, but I can see her now. If you look at Hifumi, it looks slightly to his left, but just before Mukuro there. She kind of blends in a bit. While I'm out there, I've decided I'll accept everyone's hatred toward me and toward Junko. I can't die until I've destroyed all the despair that Junko has spread. The damage that ultimate despair inflicted upon the world could not be measured in terms of money, culture, or even human life. Television broadcasts have already begun informing people that Junko Enoshima and Mukuro Kusaba were the heart of ultimate despair. Among the survivors in the outside world, there are still people who haven't been tainted by despair yet. Regardless of the fact that she released Makoto and the others, to these survivors she was nothing more than the reason the world ended. And to the terrorists wearing Monokuma masks who continued to ravage the world, Mukuro was nothing but a traitor. She was now in the hopeless situation of being enemies with most of humanity. But Mukuro wasn't making a big deal out of it. I'm going to try not to kill anyone who comes after me for revenge. Wouldn't it be safer to just turn yourself in? Wondered Yasuhiro. Well, you might just get executed instead. But you could live to be an old lady if your trial keeps getting pushed back. Mukuro slowly shook her head at Yasuhiro. Laws, justice, these things no longer exist. I don't know who's speaking there. Alright, maybe it's Yasuhiro still. Is it really that bad out there? Maybe we should just stay in here. Byakuya glared at Yasuhiro with contempt. Ignorant idiots should just shut up. Your fate won't change whether you stay in here or not. Though he was shocked to learn the Togami Corporation had been destroyed, Byakuya continued to remain firm and proud, even toward Mukuro. You are a rare asset, continued Byakuya, so I will let you live for now. Depending on your actions, I may consider forgiving your crimes after I've built a new world. Only a Togami would boast that they're capable of forgiving the crime of ending the world. You don't need to do that. I don't plan on just surviving. After turning away from Byakuya, Mukuro looked at the other students. Everyone was reacting in their own way. I feel like this could be the ending, actually, of Danganronpa If, so now I'm starting to wonder, should I just insert this onto the end of the previous episode? End it at a nice, good, whole number of 60, instead of 61? Maybe I'll do that. Everyone was reacting in their own way. Kyoko had a look of quiet preparation. Toko, having just changed back from Genocide Jack, was panicked and confused. Mukuro looked back on the past 2 years she spent with them, then turned to Makoto, who shared the same memories as her, and gave him the escape button. Makoto, you press it. Me? I think it's better if you press it instead of me. As she watched Makoto accept the button with some hesitation, Mukuro thought about what Monokuma had said. You guys will be back. Mukuro knew that Monokuma was telling the truth. After all, the file the students needed to fully restore their lost memories remain hidden in the academy. The research notes of Yasuke Matsuda, the ultimate neurologist. Okay, that's a new name, not heard that before, I don't think. His research is the key to restoring everyone's memories. Even if the students no longer have their memories, they may be able to repair the bonds they had built among themselves over the past 2 years. But as long as their memories remain unrestored, the mastermind could still repeat her deadly plan. Although the island mentioned earlier sounded strange, the students could not turn their backs on the despair facing them. Then, let's go! Makoto remembered everything that was happening in the outside world. The boy who had chosen to remain inside the academy 2 years ago was now choosing to leave. How much did he struggle to come to that decision? But he was determined to face the despair awaiting him outside, and hid his internal conflict from the others. By protecting Makoto's hope, Mukuro would bring despair to her beloved sister. But she no longer knew if the end result of her goal would lead to hope or despair. She pulled the wig over her head and hid her face with her hands. Was she smiling because hope was waiting for her? Or was she crying because her path would lead to despair? When she lowered her hands, her face was devoid of all emotion. Mukuro no longer knew what expression she would wear on her face. At the same time, Makoto pressed the escape button. A siren began to wail as the turrets retracted into the ceiling. From beyond the heavy door, a bright light appeared. An infinite number of ifs, and all the possibilities contained therein encased the world. Accepting everything, hope, despair, and even the feelings of that disappointing girl, Mukuro Ikasaba. What would be good here is if it actually took the escape button scene from the last game and actually played it at the end of this one. Will it? Oh, it will! Okay, yeah, there we go. I knew it would. There we go. But of course that's not the canonical ending, sadly. We all know the canonical ending is that only 6 people emerge from Hope's Peak Academy still alive. Wow. Well, in that case I may actually just add this on to the end of episode 60 rather than doing this as a separate episode. There we go, Danganronpa If. Complete, ladies and gentlemen. And that is everything that this game has to offer. So I hope you enjoyed Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair, everyone. We'll end it at episode 60, a good, nice place to end it on. Oh man. So, looking back over this, I'll provide some, summarising thoughts. Danganronpa 2, very good game, a very worthy successor to Trigger Happy Havoc, I felt. Really enjoyed the main storyline. The novel, barring some minor criticisms I had about the pacing, sometimes the repetition, was overall also quite an interesting thing to do. And of course you get the usual frills and bows attached to it, mini games. Oh god, I didn't mean to do that. Never mind. Get out of that. I meant to press the up button so I could highlight island mode and this here. So yeah, fantastic stuff. Really enjoyable characters as well, as usual. I think though, if you had to ask me of these 2 Danganronpa games that I played, which is my favourite, Trigger Happy Havoc or Goodbye Despair, I don't know, I think Trigger Happy Havoc remains my favourite, but having said that, I really loved Goodbye Despair overall. I thought there was a lot of good stuff in there. I thought, like I say, it was a worthy sequel. So yeah, if you are interested in playing this, I definitely recommend it. So go out and download this on Steam and play it for yourselves, everybody. So, where next then? What will I play next after this? Well, here's the thing, obviously there are more Danganronpa games. There's another episode, which is the one that you're supposed to play next after this. Then of course there's technically the Danganronpa 3 End of Hope's Peak Academy anime, which you're supposed to watch after you've played another episode. So obviously I'll have to look at that at some point. And then of course after that you get onto Danganronpa V3, Killing Harmony. So that might not be seen on this channel for a while. So I do intend to play the next Danganronpa games on my channel at some point. I'm just wondering though, shall I take a brief break? Now, this is where I'm going to potentially leave things up to you guys watching this. If you want to see me just launch straight into the next Danganronpa game, another episode, get cracking on with that, then feel free to let me know down in the comments below, and I will do. I may just have a little bit of filler content in the meantime. But obviously, the thing is, I have other things though on the channel that I really want to do at some point. So some people have been asking for me to go back to Doki Doki Literature Club as well and do some of the mods that are actually available for that, because there's some interesting stuff there. So I'm kind of at a bit of a crossroads. Do I continue on with Danganronpa just straight away, or shall I take a brief diversion? Go back to Danganronpa again. Go back to Doki Doki, do some mods there, and then after I've done a few of those, come back to Danganronpa and continue on with the story. I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I may do either or. So, tell you what I'll do is, for the next few days, of course, after this goes out on the channel, I'll wait, see what, if there are any kind of comments, if people have any kind of inclinations in that regard. So if you really want me to see me continue on with Danganronpa straight away, just let me know in the comments. But if you want to see me just take a very brief detour, do a bit more Doki Doki, then let me know down below as well. If nobody really gives me any answers in that regard, then I'll probably do Doki Doki, unless people, like I say, really want to see the next Danganronpa game straight away. So yes, thank you everybody. And other than that, there's nothing else for me to say other than the usual outro. So Facebook and Twitter links and Propagandist channel link down below. And if you enjoyed all that, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, blah blah blah. So yeah, thank you once again everybody for joining me for this. It's been an absolute pleasure to play this game. But in the meantime, this is General Red signing off. Goodbye everybody. See, holes in the fence round about. turn that searchlight off if I distract his attention over there? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Go, get it! 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 Come on! Get it! Ooh! No! 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 Oh, you can't do this to me. Get my torch out, you bastard! Get out! Stop it! I need light. I need to find where I'm going. Fuck off! Where am I going? Oh, I'm gonna be out of stamina at this rate. Shit! Just get out of here. Get out.